G'day, we're Zoom and Betty. Welcome to our 1 acre homestead in Victoria, Australia. On our channel, we document our adventures both on and off the homestead, so if you're keen to see more around our neck of the woods and follow along with our adventures, give the subscription button a click. We're excited to have you along for the ride. On today's episode, Betty shows you our new storage method for keeping seeds when they're not in the ground. We'll show you our new raised garden bed archways, and we'll also give you a garden tour a short few weeks after we plan out the garden beds for the new season.
So we got these boxes from probably one of my favourite $2 shops. It's called I Love This Shop. So if you ever see one, they are the best. These are actually made for storing photos. So they're supposed to be good for keeping them like away from the air and whatever, I don't know, fancy things that you keep your photos safer for longer. So there's a box, and then within there, there's also several smaller boxes. So I've done one of these for our veggies and one of these for our flowers, and I've sorted them into their different seasons and like when in the year you can plant them and stuff. So I'm pretty proud of this project. So one of my things that I'm the most proud of is my organization of each box. So not only did I write which season they're good for on the top, but on the front of each little box I also wrote a list of what this box includes, so that you don't have to open it and rummage through every time you want to see what is in there.
So we thought we'd take you on a little updated tour since it's been a couple of weeks since we planted out the garden, but we thought since we're over in the orchard area that we'd start out with this zone. So we've spent a little bit of time recently just clearing up this area, not that you could tell because lots of leaves have fallen. So we've got these new blueberries, which are, I think they're called fairy floss blueberries?
Something like that.
Yeah, and the reason it gets that is from the pink leaves at the ends go a little bit of a fairy floss colour. It's been really hot the last couple of days, so those leaves that sort of show that colour have taken a bit of a beating, but when they're not like that, they are really, really pretty, and I've never seen those blueberries before, so that's pretty cool. So we've got our potted fruit trees over the back here. We haven't planted them for the same reason as the berries, that it's just been too hot to take them out at the moment, and normally we have them sitting on the edge here so they get a little bit of sun, but it's been so hot that we moved them to the back now. We actually tried putting them over on the grass because we thought that would be better for them, not sitting on concrete, but we came home yesterday and the wind had knocked them all over on the ground, so that was a bit of a disaster. So we've decided to just shift them up the back where they get less sun throughout the day up there during these very, very hot days.
Just trying to live my life.
Alright, so this fella didn't make it, which, to be honest, 3 out of 4 survived, so that's pretty good. But we've got this basil, so I'm going to plant him where this was. So he's in now. We'll see how it goes. Some of the leaves are looking not the bestest. It's probably been in a pot far too long, which is standard for us, but we'll see how it goes.
I would just like you to know that Zoom specifically asked me to get in the garden to make this part of the video. This is very inconvenient for me. So we've got this weird little kind of like corner of the garden bed that is pretty much nearly in constant shade, except for it gets like the tiniest little bit of morning sun through here. And I've been kind of wondering what I could plant here, because it is also going to get sun in winter when all of the leaves fall off the fig tree. So I tried planting a couple of hydrangeas because I really love them, and they particularly like to be in a nice like well shaded area that gets like the tiniest little bit of sun, because apparently we have a lot in common. They burn very easily at the slightest hint of sun.
It hurts so bad. The sunburn or the humiliation? Both.
So they seem like they're really loving it here though. They've been here for about a week now and they are thriving, so maybe I'll just stay here too.
So we probably didn't take as much footage of the Archway Build as we should have. We purchased a couple of colorbond raised beds from Bunnings and secured a cattle panel as an archway that we found here that was left behind by the previous owners, with a few metal stakes inside the beds. We put cardboard in the bottom to help with the weeds, then some compost from our compost pile went in the bottom, followed by a mix of soil and mulch that we had left over from previous projects. This method of using the fork to get the seedlings out of the tray has had some positive and some negative comments that I've seen online, but since I've started using it, it's really been the best way to get the seedlings out that I've tried so far, so I highly recommend giving it a crack. After planting the seedlings, we used this straw mulch that we had from the previous beds. We had a few comments in our last video asking us about this particular mulch, which is what we got from our Mitre 10 store that was local to us. We hope this helps some of those that were looking for it, and now we know that it comes with free corn. Then we finished it all off by giving it a good watering down.
We were growing potatoes in this bag over the last few months, and then we neglected the hell out of it, stopped watering it, seemed to have died off. We didn't pay any attention to it because we thought it had all just gone to nowhere land. Anyway, boom! Got a whole bunch out. Pretty great.
And now on to the garden bed, veggie garden bed. Yeah, so overall, since our last update, everything's been going quite well. We've had a few surprises, few have been really good, few have been not so great. I've just discovered this morning that I think one of our little, I think it's the Borlotti dwarf beans that we planted, one's going really well. The other one looks like it's died off, which was going really well. But I'm kind of wondering if I might have accidentally killed it when I put some fertilizer on the garden. Maybe I put it on too close to the base of it and might have burnt it. So that might be on me. So I first noticed down here, right at the very base, it was kind of a little bit brown and sort of like shriveled a tiny bit. The top still looked okay. And now it's slowly just kind of died off, like from the bottom up. So I'm wondering if perhaps maybe a bit of fertilizer was sitting around the base of it and might have burnt him. This is the other one that is going quite well. Might be getting a little bit too much water, hence the yellow leaves, but it's going along quite well. Get off, ant! So a little update on what's actually growing in each of our beds. Up this end we've got cucumbers that we specifically planted from seed. So we've got 1, 2, 3 of those. We have a volunteer chard or silver beet, which this whole bed was literally 97% chard before we pulled it all out. So we've allowed a couple of them to come back of their own accord. We've got some volunteer artichokes that may or may not get pulled out. We'll see how we go because they take up a lot of space, as you can see from our existing ones behind me, they get quite massive. We've also got, yeah, the Belotti beans, some sunflowers. We've got some volunteer broad beans that were here last season and have dropped a couple of their seeds that we didn't realise, but I love those beans, so I'm quite happy about that. And we've got some carrots. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successful carrots. So I might plant a few more of those, which will actually work out quite well because it'll be a staggered harvest, so they're not all ready at once. So in this bed we did have some radish seeds planted in here, but they don't seem to have done anything, so I might have to give them another crack at some point. Have to double check if it's the right season for them now though. I've had a lot more success up the further end of this bed though. Up here we've got some squash, so those cute little round yellow squash. We've got some marigolds in there, which should be good for the bees. And up here we have chard jungle. So this is our rainbow chard that we've just left in here from last season, but it was doing pretty well. And so long as we keep it kind of under control, hopefully it won't take over the whole entire garden again. And then up this end, we got some more carrots. So these ones are purple.
These ones look like they're doing really well.
Yeah, they are. So these ones are a purple variety. So we've got pretty decent size growth on those. I think, yes, I'm gonna cut this back right now because
Blocking the sun.
it's blocking that one carrot.
Can eat that.
Could eat that. Joey won't eat that.
I will. Probably not.
Bed number 3. On to our zucchinis. So we've got 2 different types of zucchinis growing in here. We've got trombonichos, trombochinos, trumpets.
They're the ones that look like trumpets.
Yeah, their leaves are really cool. And we've got the gold zucchinis, which they've got their first tiny little baby little things on this big one at the back. So I think that we're hopefully gonna have some male and female flowers on those that we can do the
Pollinate.
thing. Apologies for the gestures. We've got nasturtiums.
Oh, you're in. There we go. Hey, now we can see.
Nasturtiums and
Here as well.
some volunteer corn, which is super random because we have not, I don't know if we've planted corn in the actual bed since we've lived here, but we did get this special water saving mulch that had some like, oh here we go, here's one I prepared earlier, had these like little like dried kind of corn looking cob thingies in it. I was like, oh that's cool. And then when I was pulling weeds out one day I was like, that kind of looks like corn.
So we've got
Free
some corn over here, and then we've got some over here and some over there as well. It's just popping up in random spots. But that's okay, I like corn.
We also have our little sugar baby watermelon that we've had planted from seed in a seedling tray a while back.
Which I didn't think they were going to go. I thought we missed the boat on transplanting those, but they seem to have just started springing out again. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm not sure if it's too late for them to actually be productive enough, but we'll see how we go. And then up this end we have, were these the rock melons? Or were these
It's got a
the...
tag.
It's worn off.
I think it was a watermelon as well.
No, I think that's rock melon.
We'll see.
This is the tag that I'm supposed to be reading.
Yep.
I think it's rock melon.
On to the final of the main bed area.
So up this end we did plant parsnips, which don't seem to have really done anything, so that wasn't super successful. We've planted the little okra seedling that we had in a seedling tray for quite a while, and that seems to be just picking up now. We've got some leeks over the other side, which I've never grown leeks, so I'm quite excited about that. And you're gonna live your little, what was your Pokemon's name that had the leek?
Quacklin.
Quacklin. He was
It's not
Farfetch'd.
Farfetch'd, yeah, but his name was Quacklin.
Yep, so we are able to live our little Farfetch'd dreams. And then we've got a few different types of pumpkins growing in this bed. One of them's a giant variety. I'll let you figure out if you can tell which one that is. So the one up this end is Jack Be Little, so that's quite a cute little name. I'm excited to see what its pumpkins look like. And then we've got the giant one in the middle here, as well as so many volunteer snow peas.
Yeah, just to be clear, that pumpkin, we planted it with nothing near it, but that many snow peas have come up. And we just I love the snow peas and I didn't really want to pull them out and get rid of them. But the pumpkin probably doesn't like it so much, but we'll see. Maybe it's saving the pumpkin from extreme heat at the moment, maybe.
Perhaps. We also have a couple of volunteer corns popping up in this bed as well. This is a really weird bed, but I'm okay with
some corn in the middle of the snow peas there.
There's also a couple of zinnias in the middle there that I planted deliberately before all of the freeloaders popped up. We've got some potatoes over there that just keep coming back. We must keep missing potatoes.
I think they're Chats or Desiree, I'm not really sure. They're like a reddy colour, but they're small, so.
Yeah.
But they were from prior to us, though. They were from the previous owner.
Yep, and we keep thinking we've grabbed them all whenever we turn the dirt over, but nope, they just keep coming back. And that's about it. Another pumpkin up this end, and whatever this herb is. I think it might be it's like an Italian basil or something, I think someone told me. Smells nice. And then over here is our latest project. So we've been wanting to do an archway that we could grow things up in some raised beds for quite some time now, and we finally actually went out and bought some raised garden beds, filled them up, put up the arch and planted a few things in there, and then absolutely got smashed by a heat wave. So timing was not really our friend on this one. So we've planted some of the volunteer, I think it's the Yukomo giant snow peas. We've transplanted some of those out from the garden bed into the raised bed. They're hanging in there, but they don't look that, ooh, crickets. They don't look that great. I think they haven't loved the transplantation and the heat.
The one up this end doesn't look like it's going well, but the other one doesn't look so bad. We'll see.
Yep. Oh, hey, little corn.
He's a strong looking corn. He's a bit in the shade, so I can't really see him too much. But there he is. He's a strong looking corn. Hiding under a big ass leaf.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the tour. It's been a very Betty heavy episode, so hope you don't miss Zoom too much. She's right behind the camera. That's just our little garden update. Well, I'm sure we'll be back hopefully with more disasters, more successes, and some weird shit in between.
Bye!
Bye!
In the first of our berries over in the berry garden, so
every man and his dog is out for a bloody drive this morning.
I'll just cut it all out.